finance minister really had a tough task in hand, unprecedented times, and we were really hearing, this is going to be one of the budgets of its own kind. And I would say she has done a very good job. While a lot of individual taxpayers were expecting a higher income tax rate because of this whole economic situation, whether by way of a COVID cess or a higher surcharge in case of high net worth individuals or people earning income at a higher level. But thankfully, there has been no additional tax imposed on the individual taxpayers, which is a great relief. There have been no changes in the income tax rates. The income tax rates remain the same as last year. So I think from an individual tax standpoint, the not really saddled with any additional taxes, which was a fear in everybody's mind. And there was a lot of conjecturing happening around this, whether any kind of a wealth tax will come or any kind of higher surcharge would come in for people earning above a certain threshold. So I think the FM has done a great job in meeting or living up to the expectation of the taxpayers and not really increasing the tax rates. So sort of a lot of changes, I would say. In fact, in the budget speech, complimented our senior citizens, to say that they have foregone several basic necessities of their own and have strived to build a nation, and to reduce the compliance burden for this category of senior citizens, which is people who are of the age 75 years or above. One of the big changes that has been brought about is that there would be no requirement to file tax return in case such senior citizens only have pension and interest income during the financial year. So I would say that is a great effort in easing the compliance burden for our senior citizens. Then around the tax filing. Now, currently what happens is that there are pre-filled ITR forms which report salary income or interest income, which are already there in the Form 26AS, making tax filing simpler for the taxpayers. But now what the FM has said is that the tax return forms will also include capital gains, dividend income, interest income. So this will further reduce the compliance burden for the individuals because tax filing to that extent would become easier. Then on this agenda of ease of compliance, in the last few years, we've seen that the whole, the tax interaction has moved to faceless assessment or faceless appeal process. Now the government has also introduced income tax appellate tribunal proceedings to go faceless very soon. So this is again a very big, I would say, step towards reducing the interaction between the income tax department and the taxpayer. And basically from a compliance burden, this would ease the taxpayer. Or and there's a long list, you must be thinking I'm talking a lot on the ease of compliance, but there are a lot of measures which have been proposed in this budget. There is a proposition to set up a dispute resolution committee, and this is for small and medium taxpayers whose income during the financial year in question does not exceed 50 lakhs. And in case the disputed amount does not exceed 10 lakhs, then they can approach this dispute resolutions committee for a faster resolution of tax dispute. So again, a very positive step, from the small and medium taxpayers' perspective. Then another very important change is with respect to assessment and reassessment. Now, with respect to income escaping assessment, the tax authorities now cannot assess or reassess income tax return after 3 years from the end of the assessment year. Earlier, this timeline was 6 years, which meant that the taxpayer really were, in midst of uncertainty as to whether their tax return will get picked up for assessment through pre-assessment. And specifically now, where there is an evidence of concealment of income above 50 lakhs or more, the assessment there can be reopened up to 10 years, but only after the approval of Principal Commissioner of Income Tax. So which means that, even if a real income dispute or concealment has to be done, then the approval of the highest authority, which is Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, has to be obtained. Then I would just want to touch upon one more positive measure with respect to employees' contribution to, say, Provident Fund, Superannuation Fund, ESI. Now, in case the employer, after deducting these contribution, does not deposit with the relevant authorities, now under the proposed provisions, the employer will not be able to claim corporate tax reduction for such contributions. Now, this is going to really compel the employer to follow the timelines. And from an individual taxpayer or employee standpoint, there would be no loss of, the interest income in case of delayed deposit by the employer, or otherwise just the loss of contribution per se. So I would say there are enough measures which are pro individual taxpayer or pro employees for that matter in this budget. I would first say a couple of them. Now, in line with government's objective of housing for all, what they've done is that Section 80 EEA benefit, which was introduced in Budget 2019, has been extended to give additional home loan interest reduction to an individual where the loan has been sanctioned till 31st March 2022. Now, this benefit is for first-time homeowners. This benefit earlier was only for any home loan sanctioned till 31st March 2021. It has been extended by 1 more year. So that's really an incentive for the taxpayer who is taking the benefit of Section 80 EEA. Then the other benefit is with respect to payment of advance tax. Now, there is a relaxation from paying interest on deferment in payment of advance tax with respect to dividend income. Now, earlier, the taxpayer could not really estimate the dividend income and hence could not really pay advance tax. And because of which, if advance tax was not paid as per the due date of payment of advance tax, there was interest under Section 234C, which was applicable. Now, there is a relaxation from paying interest on this deferment and payment of advance tax with respect to the dividend income. Then another, positive for non-resident taxpayers is in case of non-resident taxpayers who come to India and they become residents now, and if they have participating in any foreign retirement benefits, any retirement schemes, and because of different taxation rules between India and that foreign country, there was a lot of ambiguity in terms of amount of taxability, timing of taxability, leading to double taxation. Government will come up with rules for easing, or would provide more clarity around the taxability, both in terms of timing and the benefit that would be taxable with respect to these non-resident taxpayers. There is no change in the timeline for filing taxes, except the last year we saw the timelines getting extended because of COVID. But under the finance bill, the timelines to file belated and revised returns for individual taxpayers, and I'm talking specifically for them, has been amended, and the timeline has been reduced by 3 months. So earlier, one could file a revised return or belated return up to the end of the assessment year. Now the timeline has been reduced by three months. Then from the income tax department standpoint, the timeline to complete assessment by the tax authorities has also been reduced. And there is also a commitment for faster processing of tax returns by the tax authorities. Now, there is a lot of digitization which has happened at the tax authorities, and keeping in mind all of that, these timelines have been reduced, whether it is with respect to filing of belated or revised returns, or completion of assessments, or processing of returns by the tax authorities. The first is with respect to from 1st April 2021, interest accrued on employees' contribution to certain retirement in excess of 2.5 lakhs will be taxable at the time of withdrawal. So that's one. And then second is with respect to the unit-linked insurance policies. In case of a new ULIP policies which are purchased on or after 1st February 2021, in case the premium paid during any financial year is more than 2.5 lakhs, then income at the time of maturity of these ULIP policies will be taxed as capital gains.